Hi there and good day. It's Elaine Lindsay with the Women's Speakers Association, and this is WSA Speaker Spots. We're here today going to chat with Bri Seeley. Hello, Bri.
Hi.
Good to have you.
Thank you.
I wanted to give everybody a quick little rundown. Bri is actually a fashion designer. She has recently had a birthday and started a huge project which was about conversations with 30 women in 30 days. And Bri started by having a conversation by herself. She then went to the California Women's Conference, which it was about 6 weeks ago. And she's now upped it to 100 women. Basically, the topic is what it means to be a woman. Bri, take it away. That's a huge topic.
It is. I've wanted to blog about it for a while because my fashion brand is all about being a woman and really taking that inner wisdom of being a woman and then translating it to, your outer world through dress. So I wanted to do this blog on my own, but I didn't know how to write the blog without it being, well, Bri Seeley says this is what it means to be a woman, so that's what it means to be a woman. Right. And so I wanted a more broader perspective and wanted to include more perspectives because obviously my definition of being a woman is very different from, say, a stay-at-home mom or, something else. So that's when I came up with this idea of featuring one woman a day for 31 days, including myself, because I turned 31. Yeah, and then I went to the conference and all of a sudden I just had these intuitions of it needs to be, I need to speak on the topic, it needs to be a coffee table book, it needs to be all these different things, because truly this is a conversation that really isn't being had in our society. Mm-hmm. So if you Google what does it mean to be a woman, the search results are sparse, they're minimalistic, they're stereotypes, they're hormones, they're biology, they're all these things, but it doesn't actually really touch on, like, truly inside each of us what that means.
The essence, if you will, of being a woman.
Yeah.
Two things in this next question. Why is the conversation important? And you just spoke to part of that. More than that, did you find there was a common thread running through all of the interviews that you did? Or was there a vast difference in how women felt what it meant to be a woman?
Each answer that every woman has given me, and I think I've done about 35-ish interviews so far, each answer's been very different, although they do kind of have a similar thread, even if they don't necessarily say these words. Mm-hmm. There's a really common thread of intuition, like really looking inside and figuring out with yourself, nothing outside of you, nothing about who says what about who you are, the stereotypes or whatever, that conversation with yourself of what is your purpose in this world and kind of where does that come from. So while all of the answers are very different, all the women I've interviewed, it's been an internal reason as to like what makes them a woman. And I think the conversation's really important because we are inundated with so many stereotypes and this is what it should be and all these things, and I have a very unconventional way that I want to live my life, and a lot of people don't agree with it and think that I'm somehow like less of a woman because I don't ever want to be a mom. And so it's very interesting, and I think it's important for women to make that self-realization. Yeah. I had a woman comment on my post of like, why do I need to define who I am? I just roll with the punches. And I was like, well, if you're sitting around waiting for life to happen to you, I mean, are you really truly going to be fulfilled at the end of the day? I think it's just more of a conscious, purposeful, the questions that I'm asking are very, 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 very simple. You think, what does it mean to be a woman? But every single woman I've interviewed has been like, those questions were amazing and so profound, and they really have forced these women to think about it.
Yeah, and it really is not something that traditionally we thought of. Okay, women have for so long, they had to fight for the vote, they had to fight for, being a separate entity and a person rather than chattel. All those fights never gave anyone a chance to look at the deeper question and what exactly that means, for sure. What's next in your interviews? You've now upped it to, you're going to do 100 women, but yes. What's next for expanding this conversation on a larger scale?
My goal is to finish the 100 interviews, honestly, within like the next 6 weeks, which might seem a little crazy, but I'm doing it. And then I'm going to launch a Kickstarter project to get the books out there and, get the conversation going and start scheduling book signings and little things here and there, meet and greets. And 20% of all of my profits are going to go to some sort of women's nonprofit. I haven't figured out which one that is yet. I'm still doing my research. That's coming. From there, who knows?
Well, that's all really exciting. It must be so exciting for you. It's quite a project you've taken on. Kudos to you. I think it's quite amazing. And you've done an awful lot considering this started, May 13th?
Well, yeah.
Okay, that's an awful lot that you've accomplished. So I can't wait to see more.
It just, when I was sitting at the conference, it was like one thing after another, and I'm at the point where I have to go with it. Like I can't.
Well, it's really smart that you're listening to your intuition and you're going with the flow, because when it flows so well, you know that what you're doing is right.
Yeah.
I thank you very much, Bri Seeley. Check it out. We will make sure that you have access to everything Bri has going. And once again, it's Elaine Lindsay with hashtag WSA Speaker Spots for the Women's Speakers Association. Thanks very much, Bri.